I want to ask you about your experience working with Quentin Tarantino and some of the other Hollywood directors. What was that like?
I think Quentin Tarantino, I mean, any actor would tell you would want to work with Quentin. I think he's an amazing, amazing talent. When I read for Django, I had, unfortunately, I had an injury from playing soccer. I played soccer. That's like my therapy. And I'd injured myself, and I remember going in to first meet with Vicki Thomas, who's Victoria Thomas is one of the big casting directors, does a lot of big films. And I went in, and I remember I was in jean shorts, and I was in leg casts and crutches. And I remember some of the other actors looking at me, was like, "Is this guy crazy?"
Yeah. Right.
And I went in. I had been through a breakup. I had some problems that I was dealing with, but I used that, and I went in, and I just went off from Vicki Thomas. We did the scene. She had me do couple of different roles. And then a few days later, they said Quentin Tarantino wants to meet me. So I was one of the actors that brought back, actually, Chadwick Boseman,
Okay.
who's Black Panther,
Yes.
was also offered the role of Rodney. So it was he and I and maybe a couple of other actors that met with Quentin. And then they paired us up, and then Quentin directed us and watched us and paired us with the other actors. And then couple of days after that, he called. They said Quentin wants to meet me again, and this time I don't have to read. And I went and had a meeting with him, and he says, hey, I want this movie to be authentic. It's going to be in Louisiana on the slave plantation. I really want the authenticity of it, and there's going to be some, and nigga calling and blah blah blah, tension amongst the black and the whites. And are you okay with that? I'm like, it's great, it's fine, because it actually puts me in that place, in that experience of it. And then he goes, I watch your tape, I'll go back and forth, and I really love what you did. And then he says, don't worry, at the end of the week we are going to be together, and we're going to have a drink, and we're going to celebrate that we're telling the story of what's happened in history, and we want to tell a real, authentic, true story. And he goes, are you ready to get on board? I go, yes, sir. And he got up and shook my hand and says, welcome aboard.
Nice.
I mean, usually as an actor, when you go on for audition, or for, when you go to get to the directors, finally you meet the director and the producers, you still have to go, and then they'll maybe make an offer, okay, or not, And then I was in shock. Because and Quentin is like 6'3", he's a big guy, and I says, welcome aboard, and I'm looking at this, and I looked over at Vicki Thomas, she says,
yes.
So I give him a big hug, and I remember getting to the elevator, and I called my agent, and they're like, I think I got it. He says, welcome aboard, and like, yeah, just wait till we get an offer. And obviously a few hours later they called in, and that's how I got the role. And it doesn't usually happen like that, but Quentin Tarantino is kind of like his own person, and he's just amazing. I mean, he's one of the most influential and most amazing directors I've worked with. I've also gotten the chance to work with Antoine Fuqua, who directed me Tears of the Sun, who also directed Training Day with Denzel, and a lot of other films. And I've been fortunate in my life to have worked with some great directors and great actors. And one thing I just gotta say, like being on the set of Django, which watching Sam Jackson, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Jamie Foxx do their thing. That's like a master class
Yes.
for any actor, you know, to be in, to experience. And to go back quickly to Chadwick, he didn't get Django, but he got 42. Then
Yes.
he went and got, you know,
Yes.
he got bigger stuff. But
Yes.
you know, I got a chance to meet him, because we both had short films that was premiered at Hollywood Short Film Festival, and he's a really good guy. So it deserves all the success that he's having right now with the
Yes.
Black Panther and all this stuff that's going on. But you know, I get one, he gets one, and then you know, everyone's got their own path and journey. You know what I
Yes.
mean? But yeah, it's great working with some of the great directors in Hollywood, and which kind of gives you a little bit of validation that this person wants to work with you because of your work. It makes you feel great, you know.
Yes.
And working with Nick Cage in Lord of War and some other great directors and actors. So I would say, actually, I've worked twice now with Bruce Willis. We did Tears of Sun, then we just did a film, a comedy, where I played a drag queen, a transvestite. It's hilarious. It's a comedy that came out with Bruce Willis last year. So that was the second time working together, and to see each other again was so nice. So yeah.
What is it like on set with like Bruce Willis or, you know, Jamie Foxx, Samuel, DiCaprio? What is it like? Is it fun?
It's fun, but when you play at that level, you gotta come with your A game.
Yes.
You know, I mean, you see guys that can joke around and they say action,
Get back into character.
they right in there with
Yes.
you. But that's just the training. And some people will go in the corner and they need that preparation, don't want to be bothered. And I've worked with some actors like that. But I always try to find a way to just have fun on set. And just, it kind of bleeds into the character I'm playing.
Yes.
It gives me a little bit of comfort and just, you know, because when you get so intense and so tight, you don't have freedom to play, to
Yes.
be creative. But, you know, different actors have different ways of working. But I've been fortunate to have worked with good people that it's easier to play with and to work off of and opposite.
Yes. Speaking of directors, have you ever did a reading for a director and totally bombed it?
So far, so good.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
there's been times I've gone in and the nerves have kicked in a little bit, and then I get in the car and I kind of kick myself like, wow, I should have done that, done this and that. And, you know, look, at the end of the day, you go in and do your best. You get to that final moment, you can only do your best.
Yes.
You got to also take the win, you know, give yourself credit that you got to that point, even if you don't get it. You know,
Yes.
there's other roles that will come up. Everyone, as long as you do the work,
Yes.
you know, you're not going to see a director or producer if you're not doing something right.
Makes sense.
So if you get to that point,
Yes.
you've done something right. So you
Yes.
got to give yourself props and not be so hard on yourself. And because a lot of times at that point, it could be a lot of things, you know, mixing and matching with the other co-stars.
Yes.
Or if you're too tall, then the star of the show. Or if you know, it's a lot of things, you know,
Yes.
that's beyond your, as long as you know you went and did your job.
Yes.
And you were prepared, you did your job, then, you know, and then the times you get something and, you know, the next you don't.
Yes, yes.
It goes with, that's the nature of the beast, you know.
Yes.
You take the good and the bad.
Yes. Do you ever get a script and turn it down and say, no, this isn't for me?
Yeah, I've done a few of those
Okay.
actually recently, the past few months. There's been some stuff that came in and with some good actors, and I just read the script, just like, this wasn't me. It's not where I want to go. I've been in the industry for a while now, that I'm fortunate to get certain things and I can say no on certain things, and it doesn't always come like that.
Okay.
Just to get that clear. You know, sometimes they still want me to come in, and, you know, and I said, you know what, I don't feel I'm right for this. I don't feel this is something I want to do.
Yes.
Why waste my time and their time? So I tell my agent, I said, no, I'm going to pass on this. And they're totally cool with that.
Thanks.
You know, there's maybe a couple of projects that my agent would kind of say, well, you know, this and that. I'm like, no, you know, I'm sticking with my gut feeling on
Yes.
this. and yeah.
How do you prepare for a script? You like post it up all over the house, or how
No,
do you
no,
prepare?
no, no, no. When I get a script, basically what I do is I read it like you read a novel.
Okay.
It's a story. I read it and I walk away and I kind of let it kind of like go through my mind, my brain, my body, my being, and then go back and once I understand the story, and then I can go back and see what my character, how do I fit into this puzzle? Who am I in this story? What is my goal? What is my overall goal in this story? What happened before we got to the point where I come in? What's going to happen later? And then I start doing imagination, just like like you notice, kids are the best actors. They have no inhibitions.
Yes.
As adults, we've grown up, life ills, gotten us to a point where we get inhibited,
Right.
But kids are so innocent and so real. So I always try to go back to that childish, like I'm reading this story for the first time, and how can I have fun? How can I? And then I start breaking it down, find something parallel in my life that parallels the character, and how can I get in? How can I get into this role? And that's kind of where my foundation starts, and from there I just build it, and then the lines will come later.
Yes.
Because once you have the background of it, you understand what your character is, then you can easily get the lines. Because a lot of some actors go to the lines. That's not the way. You have to work the character, understand the story, and understand who you are. So when you go to the lines, it's just you saying those lines. It's coming from your being. It's not someone's. It's not just lines on paper, because if you don't bring life to it, we can easily just put a script on the camera and just scroll down and
Makes sense. Yes.
I want to touch someone. I want to be, I want someone to go to the movies or watch a show and say, I relate to that guy. I understand what he's going through, and that comes from you doing the work, character preparation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. If I was to get into the industry, right, what would be the first thing I need to know, or do, or don't do?
Well, I think for any up-and-coming actor, you need to study. Bottom line.
Yes.
If you got great looks, great. It helps you, gets you in the door. People might want to take a look at you, great. But if you ain't got talent, we're in Hollywood. Looks a dime a dozen. You go every corner, there's someone that comes out that looks 100 times better than you.
That's it.
And it's just about being on top of your game. There's so many platforms now, and it didn't used to be like that. For you to do, write something with friends, or do, stuff for AFI, USC, and also, there's something called the Actors Access, and you want to do something that syncs sound. Not non-sync, because if we can't hear you, if you can't tell a story, I don't care, and something that actually showcases you. But I think from education, from practicing, the more you practice, the more you do it, the more easier it gets for you. So when you actually get an opportunity to go in, you can feel free and relax and just play. Just like we're doing this interview. I mean, I'm meeting you for the first time. But because I feel comfortable, I can actually talk to you. I can be myself and not be so nervous. And that goes from training, from constantly practicing and practicing. And and so much more. It's just, and also believing in yourself. You're gonna get 98% no's, maybe 99.9, but there's one yes, and that's one thing that you hold on to. If you can get one yes, there's going to be more yeses.
Yes.
One door closes, another one opens.
Yes.